Hey guys, what's going on? This is EJRobot123 and welcome to my list of the top 10 worst things about Bedrock Edition. A few years ago I uploaded a video which I flawlessly titled
My Top 10 Requirements for the Bedrock Edition of Minecraft,
in which I listed my top 10 most wanted updates for the game. I rewatched that video before writing this script to see what I said, and a few of the requests have been implemented. Clearly Mojang watched it too. But still, so many of the things I said in that video have yet to be added, and whilst not articulating myself as well as I could today, I still think I made some pretty valid points. As the title would suggest, this video is going to be mainly focused on the Bedrock Edition of Minecraft, as that is the version I primarily play. However, if you'd like me to make a sequel to this video about Java, then let me know in the comments. This video isn't just going to be me moaning about the game, although it will make up a great deal of it. I'm also going to try and suggest improvements to each of my points throughout the video. Most of those improvements are going to be taken from my favourite version of Minecraft, the Legacy Console Edition. So that's enough chatting in a video full of chatting. Let's begin the list. My number 10 least favourite thing about Bedrock is a lack of chat options. In my original video, something that I mentioned is that you can't turn off death messages or the filter profanity settings. Since then, both of these have been added as options or commands. But something you still cannot do is turn off messages when people join or leave the game, or when they go to sleep. This means that whenever people go to sleep before me or lag out, I have to edit around these messages. On the old console edition, I'd be able to turn these messages off so that I'd be able to let people join in or out, sleep and change skins whilst having a smooth video. At number 9 is an infinite option. In my last top 10 video, I spoke about how it'd be nice to keep the old boards of a world in place when moving it to Bedrock. And whilst that'd still be nice, I'd also love to be able to make a smaller world and then gradually expand it as they release new biomes and structures. This would mean that rare biomes and structures would be closer to spawn, and things like woodland mansions wouldn't spawn tens of thousands of blocks away. At number 8 is downloading add-ons. One of the things that is discouraging me from using add-ons and texture packs is continually downloading them. Every time I want to join a world or a server with add-ons or texture packs on, I need to re-download everything. Now of course this makes sense the first time, but after spending many hours on Foxy's server, I'm stumped as to why I have to re-download the same packs every time I join. At number 7 is world save options. On the good old Legacy Console Edition, if somebody joins my world and griefed my house, I'd be able to revert it back to a previous save. On the Bedrock Edition, however, if somebody joined my world and blew up my stuff, I better hope I've got a copy somewhere. If I didn't, then I'd have to be prepared to rebuild whatever they blew up. Now, I don't think we need to spend too much longer on the reasons why this method is so much worse and inconvenient. Whilst the auto-saving has its perks, it'd be nice to be able to access the save that was made the last time the world was exited. Obviously this is one of the perks of a Realm subscription, so it'd be difficult to implement this without devaluing the paid service, but I neither have the money nor the desire to buy a feature that I can already access for free on a better version of the same game. At number 6 is lag. This is much less of a problem for me now that I've upgraded to an Xbox Series X, but the consoles from the last generation cannot handle Bedrock Edition. Both Xbox One and PS4 equally struggle, not only with loading times, more on that a little bit later, but also with keeping a stable frame rate. This has obviously always been a struggle inside of my lovely world, but they also both struggle in a new world. Even my Xbox 360 can handle a new world better than my PS4, which just goes to show the time, effort and optimization that 4J put in all those years ago. At number 5 are the bugs. This isn't so much of an issue now as it used to be, but there are still so many bugs in the game, many of them being years old. Whilst most of them are purely visual and can be easily ignored, those few game-breaking bugs are what can easily ruin a play session. At number 4 is a lack of quality control. This one has become more and more apparent to me over the last few years and was the catalyst to me making this video. When I'm saying that Mojang have a lack of quality control, I'm not talking about features. In fact, I prefer the new drop system over the old one big update a year system. What I'm talking about is certain decisions and changes they've made to the game. The biggest example of this was the last update, which not only saw an overhaul of the menu systems, making them harder to use on controllers, slower to load on old gen consoles, and unashamedly promote add-ons and other marketplace items to kids on the main in-game menu. As well as this comparatively minor inconvenience for me, the new update has also essentially broken the game for many PC players, permanently deleting worlds, giving them no choice but to re-download the entire game and leaving them with many glitches and bugs, making the game essentially unplayable. At number 3 is cloud syncing. Earlier in the year, for about 3 or 4 months, there was a glitch where I couldn't save any of my worlds to the cloud. This meant not being able to access my worlds on other consoles, and at one point losing many hours of progress. About 2 months ago, however, they fixed this glitch, and then in the most recent update they added it back. Once again, I can't access my worlds across different consoles unless I use the Realms paid service. As well as this, many of my worlds are now inaccessible on all consoles due to the data being uploaded to the cloud and then unable to be retrieved. At number 2 is the loading times. I touched on this a little before, but the loading times on old gen consoles is appalling. On screen now is comparing the time from starting to load the game to being inside of my lovely world. On the left is the Xbox One and on the right is my Series X. And you can see that even after speeding up the footage of the Xbox One many times, it is still unable to load faster than my Series X. Considering this is on the same internet connection, this just goes to show how unoptimised the Bedrock Edition is for consoles and that you basically need one as powerful as a PC to run it properly. Not only is loading the game unbearably slow, but also loading and leaving worlds both take a ridiculous amount of time. I can't tell you how many times I've waited at least 5 minutes to load a world, only to not be able to move for a further 5 minutes because the chunk that I'm in is the last one in the area to load. The menus also take ages to load. What are they loading in the menus? Oh yes, the marketplace animations. I'm so glad I waited an eternity for those animations to load, only to ignore them completely. My number 1 least favourite thing about Minecraft Bedrock Edition are the menus. I've got no idea where to begin on this one. Especially on controller, there are still so many issues with the menus and navigating the UI. On old gen consoles, the menus are so slow to load to the point where now between videos I've become used to spending most of my time in survival mode just to avoid having to wait for a menu to load. This is a habit I still keep now, especially since the most recent update, as Mojang have changed the way the menus look again, making them feel even worse than they were before. Yet again, I feel inclined to compare these menus to the almost perfect in-game menus of the Legacy Console Edition. As you can see, even on the same console there is a big difference in the speed that I'm able to load these menus. The Bedrock menus are so cluttered too. Why do I need to be able to browse add-ons when I'm in a world, when I need to exit the world to purchase and download them? This is clearly being designed without even thinking of the user experience, but with only the lining in their wallets in their mind. The fact that these menus have been moaned about for so many years and have remained largely untouched for the last decade is just lazy to me. The creative and crafting menus are fine, but they're nothing to write home about. But then again, nothing really comes to mind on a way to make those better. I really love Minecraft, but it really blows my creeper to see the state that the game is in at the minute. The fact that the Bedrock Edition is the most played version of the game would make you think that they'd want to make the user experience as best as possible. There's so many more niggly things that I didn't get into in this video, but those were the top 10 worst things about Minecraft Bedrock Edition. It really is a shame that we're only at this point after nearly a decade of Minecraft Bedrock Edition being released, but hopefully it won't be too long until Mojang recognises that many parts of the game need a huge overhaul. Even after many creators being outspoken with their dissatisfaction of this version of the game.
Oh yeah, another thing about this stupid version is on Java,
and even ending their series and stopping playing because it spoiled their enjoyment of Minecraft, Mojang don't quite seem to have gotten the message. I personally wouldn't be opposed to 1.22 being the Menus and Madness update, focusing on a complete overhaul of some of the systems I've spoken about in this video. Are you really annoyed that I didn't mention that music disc tracks play over the background music in this version? Let me know what you guys thought of the video in the comments, and of course feel free to leave your thoughts on my list and anything that you think is good or bad about the game. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. But until then, take it easy guys. Bye!